Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tony Fapiano. I'm coming to you from the facility in Guilford known as Roses for Autism, and what you're looking at right now is a poster that may or may not be familiar with. Hopefully you've seen a lot of these around town, because what they are doing is advertising the annual Guilford Rotary Club Rose Sale. And the gentleman to my right is Reef Tejan. And Reef has been doing this since he was 12.
Just about.
Seems that
That's
way.
about right, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's that many years, but you weren't 12.
No, but I don't change much.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Anyway, Reef is the guy in charge of this, and he's the guy that sort of motivates the Rotary Club every year to do what we do. And what we do is, sell. Well, we actually pack them. We sell and then distribute.
We will pack, so the first week is next week, and Friday the 20th, Saturday the 21st. Friday we're open all day long, Saturday, and we will distribute.
Talking about October now, just so everybody knows what month.
October, yeah, sorry, yeah, okay. Yeah. And we distribute from Bishop's all day Friday from 9 to 5:30, and then Saturday morning. The roses are $20 a dozen. You see some of the colors we've got here. We call these Sonia, Peach, Lavande, which are sort of lavender, purplish, and a lighter pink, and a darker pink, and some yellow, shades of yellow. I don't know if they call them champagne, but then we have a darker yellow like that.
All right, so that begs the question, do people watching right now have a specific choice? Can they ask for Sonia?
They can ask.
Sonia the Rose.
Right, yeah. I know. We don't promise colors, but we try. Okay. Some people do, but some people, they just say, no, just this is how many dozen we'd like, if it's a company or a store or that sort of thing. But we try, but we don't promise, only because we don't always know what supply and demand will be and that sort of thing, but.
Okay. So we're dependent on what Roses for Autism supplies us with on the nights that we pack. And we pack them and distribute them like within 24 to 48 hours, correct?
We will pack them Thursday night, and we'll start distributing Friday morning, and we'll go through till noon Saturday.
On Saturday, yes.
We do it 2 weekends. The first weekend is the Friday the 20th and Saturday the 21st. Second, a week later, 27th Friday, Saturday the 28th.
Okay, so typically they're going to be getting a pretty fresh rose.
Very fresh. Very fresh. They're kept right here in the cooler, with which I'm very familiar at this point. Yeah. And then when we pack them, we pack them right here. I have a bunch of Rotarians show up. It's a good opportunity for.
Sometimes they even get 12 in their box.
Sometimes.
Sometimes 13. I mean, if it's mine.
That's right, because we don't.
Math wasn't my.
We don't screen for math in the Rotary Club, as you know. But when we're putting the roses in the box, we'll throw in a few pieces of ice down the bottom of the stem, and then they go back in the cooler until right before we distribute them. So they're not out, anywhere Thursday night or Friday morning until they're going to their.
Okay, and we pretty much guarantee that people are satisfied with the rose that they get. We've never had, I don't know that we've had situation. You probably hear it more than I ever would, but.
There have been few and far between, and our policy is just, look, if somebody says, look, something wasn't quite right, we take care of it, we replace the roses.
Okay, and
these guys, Roses for Autism, with whom we work very closely and who really get us going and provide the roses, they are great. They're very, broad-minded, and they get the picture, and they're more interested in helping the community than, in fact, this is their give back. They don't make any money on this.
Really?
They don't. I just learned that today. I wasn't actually aware of that.
So they're selling the roses to us at cost.
That's
and we're
correct.
Turning around, tacking on a profit, and what do we do with that profit?
So what we do is we are a service.
We meaning the Guilford Rotary Club.
Yeah, the Rotary Club. We're a service organization. That's the sole reason for our existence. It's not a social club, although we do get along
pretty
very
social.
well. We have a lot of fun. We really do. But for example, I wrote some down here because every year you ask me that question, and every year I go, even though I've been in the club for 35 years, I guess now. Examples of places where we give the money back are the food bank, Warm the Children, Memorial Education Fund, Haitian Health Foundation. We've given a variety of aid to, like, for example, Jeremy Haiti, which is, always just up against
Always in
it.
need, yeah,
Yeah,
tremendous.
they're always just,
And they got devastated with a hurricane last year, I think, and we helped out with that as well.
yeah, I mean, it just seems like they've been chosen by someone to, give all this hardship to. But we help them out where we can. Women and Family Life here in town. The Rotary International projects there are places in Africa where we assist getting them water. There was one, what was the one that had to do with pigs? We got pigs that we gave to them for food. But we've helped out a lot of very poverty-stricken or third world countries. But it's international, but it's also
Anyway, don't
local.
ask me questions, all right? I ask the questions, you give the answers, not the questions.
That's my line.
You caught me off guard here.
That's my line in court.
Okay.
Raise the Roof, Habitat for Humanity, polio eradication worldwide.
And on and on and on.
And on and on.
We do a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
we do a bunch of stuff. So
We raise, by the way, between 30 and 50,000 a year that we give right back every year.
yeah.
Every
Oh, yeah.
year. And this is
Yeah.
part of it. This is a part of that
it.
30 to
This is part- and
50,000.
This has been going on. I've been chairman of this project for 34, I think this is the 35th year. I don't know when it started. I think it was in the 50s,
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
maybe the early 60s, not long after the club started here in Guilford.
All right, you're going to be thinking of a lot more stuff you want to tell the folks at home, but I'm going to bring somebody out from Roses for
Absolutely.
let her get right in between the two of us.
Okay.
Come on over here, and Reef, you come back also.
So, in other words, it's going to be a rose between two thorns?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
There we
pretty
go.
much. You're not running for politics, are you?
not.
You know,
You could, though. You could. That was pretty politically correct, but you are correct, by the way. We got a rose here. All right. Let's get behind the sign here so we keep that in the shot. Reef, get a little closer. All right, so Reef already mentioned you supply all of this to us at cost, and you being Roses for Autism.
Correct.
So I think a lot of people know about you, know where you are. They see your sign out on Route 1 almost across from Walmart. And they probably know something about you, but they don't know everything.
They don't know everything.
So we're going to learn everything right now.
All right, let's
First
learn
of all, who are you?
everything. My name is Susan Dunkerley. I'm the Day and Work Program Manager here at Roses for Autism.
Okay.
And Roses for Autism has been in business since 2009. We do grow and sell roses here. While we may substitute periodically, the purpose of the business is to give individuals with autism first valuable work experience. So
All
they
right,
come,
individuals.
individuals.
What age group do you actually service here?
Ages 16 to 25.
Okay, and how do they qualify to be a part of the program? Because you have a limited number of people you can service at any given
That is
point,
correct.
right?
That is correct. The majority of the individuals we serve come from DDS, the Department of Developmental Services. There are some who also come from various school districts. So the individual is graduating from high school and needs that transition service into the workforce.
On average, how long does one of these folks that joins the program, how long are they in the program?
They can be in the program up to 3 years. So sometimes it takes an individual 6 months to get to the point where they can be competitively employed, and sometimes it takes the entire 3 years.
Okay, and you're a transitional program. You're
Correct.
bringing them from point A to point Z,
Yes,
and you're filling in the rest of it.
that's correct.
So you're preparing them for what comes next in their life.
Yes.
Have you had situations since you've been here that would be success stories, what people would view as a success story of someone who's come through here and is now gainfully employed or on with their life or whatever?
I have a few, but one in mind is actually a young fella. He came to us about 2 years ago. We were his last stop. He had tried other programs. Most people thought he was a lost cause, which is really sad. We worked with him. We worked with him on register, customer service, and he now works full-time at Walgreens. So
good.
he has graduated our program. He now has his driver's permit, and he's been working at Walgreens for just over a year now.
Yeah, and the work the ability to get involved in the workforce. What are some of the things that you teach them? I mean, you almost help them run the business, right? Or they help you run the business.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in that process, the things that they're learning is how a work environment operates, how they're supposed to, what are the social interactions that you're supposed to have at work and what you're not supposed to have at work, task management, customer service skills, money handling with the register, inventory, all things that they get to put on their resume.
Now, customer service, I would think, would be a particularly difficult thing for someone on the autism spectrum because communication is one of the issues that they all have to some degree or another.
Well, actually,
Yes or no?
Yes and no. It really depends on the degree of processing needed. With autism, it's really a processing difference. So while I can answer your questions relatively quickly, someone on the spectrum may need a few minutes to process that. But we find that most of our customers are very patient with that, and more awareness comes through individuals ringing out the register.
Okay, well, Lucas is behind the camera, doing our camera work. He's done this before. He's done other programs with me, around the town of Guilford. And I just grabbed him out of middle school. But I brought it to your attention because Lucas's cousin, another one of my grandchildren, is on the spectrum. He's now 14 years old, and he's in a special program in New York. And he works really hard to be where you would like your people to be when they're through here.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
wonderful news.
So we know a little bit about this, and we know the impact that it has on families when you say people have given up on them already. We don't ever want to hear that when you're a
Never.
grandfather, I can tell you that.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's why it's so important to bring autism awareness to the
Yeah,
community.
absolutely. Okay, so we're going to sell roses.
Sell roses.
All right, now we're going to sell some really beautiful stuff here, and I asked the question, can you give us specific kinds if we need them?
I'm with Reef.
The pressure's on now.
A lot of the supply and demand actually comes from the plants themselves. People would like to think that we could just cut a million red roses, but unfortunately the plant decides.
Yeah.
We're at their mercy.
Okay.
But we do our best, and if we and again, just to reiterate with what Reef said, if there's ever an issue, we will come. They can bring flowers back to us, or Reef. We will replace them, no questions asked.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Yeah, because we do guarantee that people will be satisfied.
Absolutely.
And we want them to come back next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. As Reef said, we've been doing this longer than anybody can remember.
Right.
So we get the same repeat customers, I guess.
Let's hope so, and maybe a few new ones.
Yeah.
So the Guilford Rotary does so many things in the community. It's just a great way to help them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we try. Don't raise the bar too high. We're just Rotary.
Doing pretty good.
Reef, you got a great person to work with here, and you've worked with many over the years. Over the years, the management level has changed every so often.
It has, yeah. Few times.
But somehow they all seem to accept you. Why is that?
They're just very understanding, I think.
I guess.
Because he does such good work.
Yeah. When does he actually start contacting you to get this thing all set up? When do you actually hear
I
about
think we
this?
start sort of touching base in July and August to
Yeah.
just make sure that we're on, and then we just have that relationship where we trust that it's going to happen.
So we're actually like 3 or 4 months in advance before we're actually here where we are tonight.
That's correct.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Ability Beyond Disability. That's your parent company, isn't it?
Our
Or
parent-
has they changed the name now?
They've actually rebranded the name a few years ago. It's Ability Beyond, and they are our
They
parent
dropped out
company.
the disability part.
Correct.
Good idea.
Correct. They didn't want people to have that last thought in their
Yeah.
mind. And they were actually the founders of Roses for Autism in '09. So they are our parent company. They founded the organization with a collaboration between the Pinchbacks and Mr. Lyman. So they actually do a lot of planning with us, and we do answer to them in some.
Yeah, they're a
some
good group. I think they were instrumental too, along with our local representative, to get some state funding when you remodeled out here in the front. Right?
Yes.
Pat
yes.
Woodlitz was important, I think.
Oh,
No
yes,
longer our
God,
representative, but
right.
she did a great job.
Right. God bless her. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Reef, let's get back to why we do this, who we do it to, and when we're going to do it. And again, folks at home can buy roses from a Rotarian?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to handle money and stuff?
Yeah, up to a point. And if people out there who don't know a Rotarian, you will see signs posted around town. giving all the information of when and where
That's this, right?
and how much. That's one of the posters. There's also a smaller version. And if they do know a Rotarian, just say, look, I'd like to buy some roses. My phone number is on here.
Which is?
Which is 203-453-0430.
That's your
That's the
law
office.
office? Okay. Your secretary must love when you give that number out, huh?
She does. No, but she's great,
Yeah.
and she's very helpful. Her name is Joan, and you can order through us, or if you, those are the main. We have a website. Do you know the
I don't know
website?
what it is. I have no idea what it is. I know the club website is Guilford Rotary, no, GuilfordCT Rotary.com.
Is it .com or .org?
I don't know.
But in any event, we do have a website that technologically competent people, not such as us,
Obviously not us.
could find, and there'll be information there as well. But it's the main thing to remember is Bishops, the last 2 weekends in October. Both of those all day Friday and half a day Saturday. The easiest thing to do is raises a little havoc with me on supply and demand. Is you could just show up and buy a ticket right at Bishops, and there's no problem. The only thing is, it is first come, first served. And
So what we have that day is what you can pick from.
That and the so that's the safest way to make sure you get one. But almost everybody does, and those that don't, I bother Susan with the next week and say, this is what the trickle looks like this year, and she takes care of us.
Yeah, and it's almost seamless the way Reef stands up in front of the club 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance, reminds everybody they should be selling, reminds everybody we need people stationed at Bishops. He reminds us of what our responsibilities are, and that's a good thing because that's what Rotarians are supposed to do. They're supposed to be involved and help, and he just makes sure we do that.
I try.
I just want to mention one thing. This is not really related to any of this, but you actually had a little incident here. You have some sort of a special garden, which was vandalized this year.
Yes.
And what is the garden, first of all? What is it all about?
It is a sensory garden. It's now been rebuilt. A sensory garden caters to individuals with sensory differences, like as the case with autism. So whereas traditional gardens you are kind of told to not touch, don't touch, just look pretty. Sensory garden is so you can touch it, taste it, you can listen, smell,
Hear it if it's talking.
Exactly, and it's
Or if it's buzzing, I guess.
Yeah. It's a therapeutic place for people on the autistic spectrum.
And you had an unusual. I can't believe that somebody would do that and do it to you, but it did happen, and you were able to rebuild it?
It did, and it's been rebuilt.
That made headlines several times in town. This is not news.
Yes, this is not news. It was just unbelievable. It happened twice in June, 12 days apart, and it just crushed the individuals, that we serve. And so we had to spend all summer building it, and it's back. So
I got to tell you, 99.99999% of the people that read that said, "Are you kidding me?"
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Yeah. All right. A rose between two thorns. That was great. That was pretty good.
pretty
Did you
good.
think about that on the spot? Was that?
Spontaneous.
That's pretty
Just
good
popped
stuff.
into my. I mean, it's what it is.
It was
It's
easy, though,
true.
right? It was easy.
It's the truth, and that's one of our mottos, right?
There you go. Okay. All right. What else do we want to say about the rose sale? Where they can get them? How much they are? Anything. Anything that you want to repeat?
Please buy them. It all goes to a good cause, and the folks that have been doing it over the years look forward to it. Some of them remind me, when are you going to do the roses? It's a fun thing to do.
Okay.
It's roses. They're a nice thing to work with. When we pack them here, they're really nice. They're nice to have in your house once you get them. And so, I was just telling you that I do a spin class down at In Shape, and they let me make announcements down there into the spin class.
Oh, wow.
And the spin instructor Saturday morning, I walked in, and I was about to ask him if I could. He said, "Reef, aren't you going to give your speech? And I said, yeah, I wanted to today. And so it's something, it's a nice tradition. It's a lot of fun. I really look forward to it myself.
Yeah. Well, we all do, and we certainly hope it's successful. And I was going to say that this is important to us for all the reasons that Reef mentioned, as far as all the beneficiaries that we give this money to. But I was also going to say that it's beneficial to you because you make money, but you're not making any money on this.
No, we don't make any money, but that's okay. And actually, I want to reiterate that today mostly because you actually bring up the sensory garden. And the community really came together and supported us in that and gave us the money to rebuild. So I really want to make it clear to the community that this is a sale to benefit the Guilford Rotary and not Roses for Autism needing more money. This is totally a give back to our community. Guilford Rotary has just been a tremendous impact in the community. And that's what we want to do. So what do we get out of it? We get exposure.
You
we
get
get
to
to
hang out
work
with
with Reef. And again, just because we're a nonprofit doesn't mean we can't give back. So that's exactly what we want to do.
Yeah. Terrific. Reef, here's my Mike Wallace question. Somebody says, I can buy a dozen roses at the gas station on the corner for $15. Why should I pay $20 to the Guilford Rotary Club?
It's a fundraiser for
An awful
service.
question.
No, but it's a fair question. In fact, I've had Rotarians, ask me that, and I've had people that I sell them to. And my answer to that is that, look, if you want to get the least expensive roses, then you should do that. But this is a fundraiser, and these monies go really good places, and they're beautiful roses. And that basically is my answer.
Okay, that's a great answer, and that's the truth. It's a fundraiser. That's how that's the only explanation. It is a fundraiser. In terms of people within the club that work to do all the things that you mentioned, all the volunteerism.
Right.
Who's on salary? Who's making what here?
Nobody makes anything. We don't make any money, but we have people who, it starts by people selling, getting on the phone, walking into stores and talking to their friends, selling the roses. Then we come here and we pack them, of course. Then we distribute them. We're either bringing them to Bishops where people come and pick them up, or a lot of us have folks that we, businesses or friends or that, that we deliver ourselves to. So the Rotarians aren't going to like it if I say this, but don't hesitate to ask your Rotary friend if they'll deliver it to you instead of selling you. What we typically do is we give a ticket, and then we get the money for it, and then the person goes to Bishops and presents the ticket on the dates, on the Fridays and Saturdays of the last 2 weekends. But we deliver, too,
Sure. Yeah,
So we're happy to.
I've always told people, if you have 5, I'll bring them wherever they have to go.
Yeah, it's great.
1, I'm not too interested in running into New Haven for 1, but I would if I had to.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, thank you so much. I appreciate
you.
your
I
time.
appreciate
and
you.
everything you do here, too, is so important
Thank you.
to,
Thank you very
to
much.
a lot of people. You don't realize how many are out there that actually have what you do or need what you do. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you
and
for
Reef,
coming.
as always, just unbelievable year after year after year he does this. And it doesn't get easier every year because he gets older. This is what happens. As you get older, things don't get easier.
Plus, don't forget the part about I'm not too bright.
All right. Terrific. Lucas, thanks so much for doing camera again. I appreciate it. Lucas Espinoza, who is now a 7th grader at Adams Middle School. And he does a lot of programming with me, and I appreciate that. I hope he learns something about volunteerism when we do these kinds of programs. I hope he learns about that, and it sort of stays with him so that someday he might be a Rotarian, or when he gets his law degree, he might come to work for Reef and take over the chairmanship of this. What do you think?
That would be great.
All right.
Don't let him go anywhere else.
You got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Reef,
you.
terrific.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. Great to see you. This is Tony Fapiano. Thank you for watching.